Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and start in a nice seated position. So we'll begin our yoga practice. So any sort of position that feels comfortable to you. You've got pillows in your home, blankets, whatever will help you feel comfortable. And just allow yourself to take this practice at your own pace. So if you'd like to set an intention for the practice, maybe today or tonight, it can be more relaxing for you, or maybe a little bit more upbeat and kind of more challenging. So you get to decide, and it's your practice. So finding a comfortable seated position and allowing the spine to lengthen up towards the ceiling. So you're sitting up nice and tall, your shoulders are relaxed, and we're going to focus on our breath as we land here and really slow down. So take this time to check in with yourself. Notice if you're really holding on through the fingers on the knees or through the muscles of the face. And give yourself permission to let things sort of melt. So physically and emotionally and mentally, really allow yourself to kind of quiet down. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose. And then a long cleansing exhale out through the mouth. And take a couple more just like that and allow them to really be slow. So there's no rushing or racing through the yoga practice. We're not trying to force anything. We're simply just kind of moving with awareness, intention, and just observing. So taking a few more deep breaths in through the nose. And then really emptying out your lungs on your exhale out through the mouth. And again, filling up. So a nice big inhale through the nose. And big exhale out through the mouth. Let it go. Gently open your eyes up and keep your hands on your knees, and we'll just do some seated cat-cows to warm up our spine. So go ahead, take a breath in. As you inhale, begin to arch in your spine. And if it feels okay on your neck, bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. The shoulders are melting down your back and kind of wrapping around the spine, and your sternum is lifting. As you exhale, round in your spine, drop your chin. And I kind of stretch out my arms here to squeeze the belly button back towards the spine. And then go like that a couple more times. So as you inhale, heart lifts up, maybe the gaze creeps up to the ceiling. And exhale, round in your spine. So now the shoulder blades are almost pulling away from one another, so they're kind of moving away from the spine as you round in your spine. Inhale, heart lifts up. And exhale, round the spine. Let's go one more time. Inhale, let the sternum and heart lift up towards the ceiling. And exhale, round in your spine. And coming on back to a neutral spine. We are going to inhale and reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And take a twist to your right as you exhale. So let your right hand come to the floor and the left hand rest on the right knee. And as you move through practice today, see if as you land in poses, can you find a focal gaze point where you are? So we call that a dristi, and it helps you really dial in, stay focused and present. We'll stay here for another breath and stay through the exhale and see if you can maybe twist just a little bit deeper. And then next exhale, float back through center. Keep that spine nice and tall. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, twist to the left. Your right fingertips are just gently resting on that left knee. Not putting too much pressure on your left hand. So even in this kind of simple seated pose, we are using our core. We're kind of hugging into the midline, lengthening our spine up. Stay for the exhale. Notice if the twist can go a bit deeper. Awesome. Next, exhale, come back through center. Leave your right hand down on the floor. Inhale, reach the left arm to the ceiling. And as you exhale, twist and reach over towards your right. So we're kind of taking up space here. So really feel yourself lengthening out through your finger pads, through the fingertips, either dropping down to your right forearm if you'd like, or staying lifted on the hand. And as you're here, bring your attention to maybe the left hip area, the left ribs. And as you lengthen out through your left fingertips, hopefully you feel a stretch through that side body. And on your next exhale, float your way back through center. Let's sit up nice and tall. Pause here for a moment. Hug your shoulders up towards your ears as you breathe in. And then exhale, let it go. Okay, left hand stays down on the floor. Inhale, reach your right arm to the ceiling. And exhale, reach over towards your left. Option to go a bit deeper as you exhale, maybe dropping down to your left forearm. But either way, really extending and reaching through your right fingertips. So your right bicep is kind of hovering over your ear, and you've got the option to maybe gaze at the ceiling or straight ahead or down at the floor if that feels better. Bring your attention towards your right hip. Reach through your right fingertips. Really feel the side body stretch for another breath. And exhale, let it go. Come up back through center. Let's pause here. Hug the shoulders up towards the ears as you inhale. And exhale, let it go. So from our seated position, go ahead and grab your right leg. So you've got a hand maybe on the bottom of the right foot, and then your right hand maybe at the right knee. So we're just going to kind of rock from side to side to get a nice warming up in the hip. So if you're feeling pretty flexible and like you want to go a bit deeper, you can actually wrap your arms around the shin here and interlace your fingers. And so that's really squeezing your right leg in towards the chest, maybe feeling a stretch here through your right glute area. And notice from here if kind of the core is inactive and we're rounding, and so we still want to be lifted up through our heart and having a long spine. We're going to extend the left leg out. So maybe drop your right hand just down for some support and then kick out this left leg. Awesome. Take a nice deep breath in. Inhale, maybe lift through the sternum. And as we exhale, guide this right foot up and over the left. So we're going to drop our right foot down towards the ground. Bring your right hand to the ground. We're going to inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, bring the left elbow kind of to your right thigh. We're going to come into another spinal twist here. Finding a kind of focal gaze point. And even when we're here, hugging the belly button towards the spine, keeping the chin sort of parallel with the ground. Exhale, come back through center and just kind of float over to the other side just to twist towards the left a little bit. And there's no real right or wrong position for the hands, kind of just however you feel supported and balanced. Awesome, come back through center and drop right into your tree pose. So bring your right sole of your foot to the left thigh. And the left leg stays out long. So we'll use an inhale to reach and lengthen up. Reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, begin to reach for your left foot. And if the hands can't get there, just place your hands gently on the ground for support. And if you've got your left foot, you can always flex the foot towards your face a little bit, and that will give us stretch through the hamstring and calf in the left leg. As you exhale, soften a bit through the belly. And then gently work your way back up to a lifted position, and we'll go to the other side. So leave your right leg as it is and go ahead, bend the left leg, and both hands will reach for this left leg. So again, your hand on the knee, hand on the foot. And we'll warm the hip up, rocking side to side. So I like to flex my left foot. Really helps me kind of feel in control, and it just kind of engages the muscles of my leg a bit more. Option to stay just like this, or if you'd like to interlace the fingertips around the shin, you can kind of get a bit of a deeper stretch through the left glute. And again, use this maybe as an opportunity to maybe inhale, see if you can kind of just lift a little bit. And then continue rocking from side to side if that feels good. And then we'll extend the right leg out. So maybe dropping that left hand back just for a bit of support and kicking the right leg out. Inhale, squeeze in and lift. Exhale, guide this right foot up and over the left and bring the left foot to the floor. So lengthening up through the spine, we're going to inhale, reach the right arm up. And as you exhale, twist. So the collarbone is nice and wide from kind of east to west. You've got lots of length there. Gazing over that left shoulder, finding your focal gaze point. As you exhale, come back to center. And we'll drop into our tree. Oh yeah, let's twist to the other side. So keep on going and gently do a twist over towards your right. Hug that belly button in. And exhale, come back to center. Come into your tree pose, so gently drop this left leg. The left leg is bent and your right leg is out long. We're gonna sit up nice and tall, so on inhales we find length. So inhaling, maybe reach your arms up high towards the ceiling, reach through your fingertips. And as you exhale, fold forward and reach for the right foot. And notice where you land kind of the first time on the exhale, and then take the next breath in, and on the breath out, see if you can kind of just let go and go a bit deeper into the pose. And then from here, gently push yourself back up. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. So start to bend your right leg, come into a seated butterfly pose here. Again, lengthening through the spine, so lifting up, and then using the elbows to gently press against the inner thighs. On an exhale, you can always start to lean forward, sort of hinging at the hips. Working on the heart staying open and leading the way as you fold. Awesome, come back on up. And let's come into a child's pose. So bringing your knees to the edges of your mat and allowing your chest to fall down to the floor. So we want our fingertips to reach forward to the front of the mat and begin to sink your hips back towards your heels. In your child's pose, spread your fingertips nice and wide. And stay here and breathe. So let the shoulders melt down the back. And on an exhale, notice if the heart can soften down towards the floor anymore, or if the hips can drop back towards your heels. Feel relaxed through the face, through the forehead, the finger pads. Begin to press your way up into a tabletop position. So gently begin to walk your knees a little bit closer towards one another for your tabletop. So your knees and hands are both at hip width distance apart. Gaze down at your fingertips, and we want the index fingers parallel with one another, and they're sort of at 12 o'clock. The elbows are a little loose, and let's take some nice circles. So again, just warming up the spine, feeling the glutes and hips. And maybe staying in one spot for a little bit if it feels good. And finding your way back to tabletop position. In your tabletop, you really want to engage through your core. So it's like we're kind of pressing the mat away from us. We don't really want to be dropped and sinking into the shoulders, so we want to be nice and active. From here, send your right foot back behind you. So kind of flex the foot. You can keep the heel in line with the glute here. And from here, begin to lift your left hand forward. So again, reach through those fingertips. And now notice what's still in contact with the ground and really ground down, press down and root through it. Continue engaging through the core, and we'll just stay in this lifted pose here, kicking through the right heel and left fingertips for a few more breaths. Back of your neck is nice and long, so if you've got a visual gaze point, just straight down at the mat for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, lower your left hand right underneath the left shoulder and bring your right leg up and over the left. So drop your right toes down towards the ground. That right leg works on staying straight. And we're just going to gaze over the left shoulder and take a look at your right foot. So feeling a little bit of a minor stretch through the right side body, the right ribs there. On your next exhale, float on back to a nice tabletop position. Lower that right knee down and then take maybe just a couple small movements here. And then coming on back, we'll go to the other side. So again, feel and build your firm foundation. And then when you're ready, kick the left leg back behind you. And if you notice the kind of left leg and hip is opening up towards the ceiling, see if you can really engage the low abdomen. So we've got both hip bones pointing down towards the ground, pressing in with our hands in the right knee. Flex that left foot, stay here, start to reach your right hand forward. And as you're here, just imagine a straight line of energy through the right hand, arm, through the spine, back through this left leg and foot. Tune into what's pressing down into the floor and in contact with the mat. Ground down through it and see if maybe you can just lift a bit more. Engage through the core for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, gently lower this right hand down right underneath your right shoulder and bring your left foot up and over. So the left toes maybe resting gently on the floor and begin to gaze over that right shoulder. Maybe feeling a side body stretch through the left side and the left ribs. Bring yourself back tabletop position. Let's just gently sit back on our heels for a moment. So the spine is lengthening up towards the ceiling. Maybe just rest your hands gently on your knees. So another option for this would be child's pose. So we're just going to take a few breaths in sort of a resting pose. Take 2 more breaths. Take a deep breath as you inhale through the nose. And a long exhale out through the mouth. And again, one more time. Awesome. From here, let's come back to our tabletop position. Let's press our way up into downward facing dog. So maybe bring your hands forward, maybe like 4 or 5 inches. They stay hips width distance apart. Spread your fingertips nice and wide and start with really bent knees. So you can kind of build this up slowly. So send the chest back towards your thighs. Keep the heels lifted away from the mat as you come into your first down dog. Bend the knees. And really engage through the arms. If things are feeling like a little stiff, bring a little bend to your elbows. And think about lifting your tailbone and hips up towards the ceiling. Relax through the head and neck. Go ahead and shake it out here if you'd like. And then have fluidity here. So if you'd like to start bending one knee and then straightening the other, see how that feels. So you can start kind of guiding one heel down towards the ground as the other one lifts. And an option for downward facing dog would be dolphin pose. So you would be down on your forearms. Let's gently start to walk our feet up towards our hands. So we'll come into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Your feet should be parallel, and you should really be able to feel all four corners of your feet. Bend your knees and fold in the upper body. Any hand variation that feels good. Again, take an exhale. See if you can kind of fold just a bit deeper, softening through the belly. And whatever arm variation you're in, gently let that go. So now your hands are down on the mat. We're gonna rise up to stand. So really ground down through your feet. We wanna engage the legs, hug the belly button towards the spine, chin towards your chest, and gently rise up to stand as you inhale. Go ahead and sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe you gaze up, hands come to touch. And let's take a big exhale and fold forward. Bend through the knees. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. So bring your hands to your shins. The heart pulls forward and the back of the neck is nice and long, so the shoulders pull away from the ears. Next, exhale, fold forward. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, press through your feet, lift through your heart. Exhale and fold. And again, inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Hands down towards the mat. Step back to your downward facing dog. Use your core and kind of roll forward to your high plank. So we want to bring our shoulders over our wrists. Core is engaged nice and tight. You can always drop the knees to the floor here. We'll come into a side plank on the right side. So the right hand and arm will stay down on the mat. Gonna roll up, and if it feels okay, you can reach your left arm to the ceiling. So again, hips are lifting up, core and obliques are engaged, really pressing down through that right hand. On your next exhale, float your way back towards center. So come to a nice, strong, high plank. Again, engage through the core and go to the other side. So left hand stays down on the mat. Feels okay, reach that right hand towards the ceiling. Spread your fingertips. Think about lifting up, up, up. Exhale, find your high plank. Nice and strong here. Again, pressing the earth away from us. Backs of the legs are lifting up towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, gently lower your knees down towards the ground, and then let your hips sink down towards the mat too. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Bend your elbows and just kind of rock from side to side. Awesome. Begin to tuck your toes. Press through the hands, send the hips back. Come into your downward facing dog. Taking a full deep breath in. Big exhale out. We're going to come into some sun salutation. So walk your feet up towards your hands. You can actually either bring your feet to touch if you'd like. You can bring the big toes to touch and have about 1 inch between the heels. Or for some more balance, separate the feet so that they're hips width distance apart. Your call. Inhale, halfway lift. So let the heart lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, press through the feet. We're going to rise up to stand. Arms sweep up. Gaze and look up. Hands come to touch. As you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Again, roll the shoulders down your back. If there is a focal point in front of you that you can kind of dial in on, go ahead and do that. Press through the feet, big inhale, arms reach up. Big exhale, bend the knees a little bit and fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. And exhale, let it go, fold. Inhale, press through the feet, rise up. Arms sweep up. Maybe you gaze up and the hips press forward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Relax the shoulders. And again, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, press through the feet, rise up to stand, engage through the legs, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Press through the feet, big inhale, reach the arms up, maybe gaze up, press the hips forward, a little bit of a back bend if it feels okay, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, let it go. Press through the feet, rise up to stand. Sweep the arms up, hands come to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. So now we'll move into sun salutation A. So we're going to add in a couple poses. So remembering to stay grounded through your breath and your intention. Big inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, hands down on the ground, step back to your high plank. Again, no rush here. Build your high plank from the ground up. So you've always got the option to drop your knees here. If not, the backs of the legs are reaching up towards the ceiling. Engage your core, and we are going to slowly lower down to the ground and go for it. Elbows squeeze into the ribs. And exhale, let it go. Come all the way down. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Continue squeezing the elbows in towards the ribs, and we're just going to inhale to cobra pose. So the shoulders are rolling back. We're kind of pressing into the tops of our feet and our hips. Exhale, lower down. Go ahead and tuck the toes. Press through the hands, and we're going to shift back to downward facing dog. Let's stay for a breath. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Gaze at your hands and begin to walk your feet forward into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, press to the feet, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And again, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, let it go, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, hands come down to the mat, step back, high plank. Stay here for a breath in. And on the exhale, slowly lower down to your low plank. Come all the way down, flip onto the tops of your feet. Squeeze your elbows in towards the ribs. Inhale, nice lift through the sternum and heart. Exhale, let it go, lower down. Find your way back to downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, press through the arms, bend the knees, send your hips up. Step your right foot forward between your two hands. And ground your left foot down. So left heel and foot is anchored down. So the left toes are angled up at the top left-hand corner of your mat. We'll come into warrior one. So for our warrior one, we want our front leg to be bent with the right knee right over the right ankle. Again, if you notice the hips are sort of splaying open towards the left, bend out of the front knee a little bit, really press into your back foot, and it will help kind of shimmy this left hip forward again. So we want our hips to be squared. And then if you'd like, bend a little bit deeper here into this right leg and adjust as needed so that the knee stays over the ankle. Okay, relax the shoulders, Really anchor down through the feet, and when you're ready, lift your arms up. Palms face one another. And again, opportunity to find that drishti, so something in the front of the room, and focus on the breath. Another deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. So bring your hands down towards the mat on either side of the foot. Let's send this right foot back behind us so we come into a high plank. On your exhale, slowly lower down all the way or into your low plank. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Come into a cobra or upward facing dog. And on your exhale, tuck your toes. Engage through the arms, downward facing dog. Lift back up. We'll stay for one breath. Nice inhale. Exhale, let it go. Step your left foot forward. We'll build our warrior one on this side. Anchor down through your back foot. Really engaging through the legs. The left toes are facing directly forward. And again, adjust the hips here as needed. So engaging and pressing through this back right foot and kind of sending this right hip forward. Bending a bit deeper through the front knee if you'd like. Hugging energy kind of up and in, and when you're ready, arms lift up. Softening through the shoulders, the armpits, the elbows. Lifting up through the finger pads and tips. Another inhale, reach up. And exhale, lower down. So bring the hands down to the ground. Step this left foot back, high plank. On the exhale, bend the elbows, low plank, or lower all the way down. Flip onto the tops of your feet as you inhale to an upward facing dog or cobra pose. And exhale, back downward facing dog. And a deep breath in here. And exhale out. Begin to walk your feet up towards your hands. We'll come into a forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. We're going to stay grounded through our right foot. Leave your hands down on the ground and start to lift the left leg back and up. So we'll come into a standing split. So in that pose, we're folding in the upper body. We're kind of working our nose towards our right knee. And the left heel and leg continues lifting up towards the ceiling. Hands can start on the ground, and then for more of a challenge, you can bring your hands to your right ankle. And flex this back foot to really engage through the muscles of the leg. And then we'll transition into half moon. So putting your hands on the ground, kind of inhale to a bit of a halfway lift. Going to leave your right hand down on the ground. We're going to twist this left side of our body up and open. So the left hand will reach towards the ceiling. And now the left foot is sort of, this left hip is rolling over the right. Option to gaze up at the left hand or stay down looking at the floor. Awesome work for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, slowly just come into a forward fold, nice and gently, both feet down on the floor. Fold in your upper body. Maybe shake from side to side a bit here. And let's reset. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Ground down through that left foot. Really plug in through all 4 corners of the feet. Engage through the leg. Lift the right heel up. Fold in your upper body. Option to bring your one hand or both of your hands to your left ankle. Engaging through that leg. And then when you're ready, we'll come into our half moon. So maybe coming to that halfway lift, really engaging through the leg, keep flexing this right foot. And now we're going to twist and open our body. So the right arm will lift towards the ceiling. So now we have our right hip rolling over the left. Flexing through our right foot. Leaving this left hand on the ground for support for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, fold forward. So softly start to bend through that left leg. Right foot comes to the floor, fold forward. Awesome. From here, let's just come into a squat. So start to kind of bring your feet out towards the edges of the mat. And the feet should be at maybe 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And we can move from side to side. And then a pose that I like to take in deep squat is kind of this open body stretch. So if you put the right hand down on the floor, kind of near the right foot a little bit, kind of twist and open so the left arm reaches towards the ceiling. And you can gaze up. And then exhale, let it go. Nice. So now the left hand is near the left foot, kind of up maybe like 5 or 6 inches to get a nice stretch. And the right hand will reach to the ceiling. And exhale, let it go. Let's go to the other side one more time. Inhale, reach up. And even from here, you can kind of come into that half bind. So the left hand, the back of the left hand would find the low back. Notice how you feel that opening through that left shoulder. Exhale, let it go. Come back towards center and find your way to the other side. As you inhale, your right arm floats up. And as you exhale, you can come into that half bind. The back of the right hand finds the low back. And exhale, let it go. Let's lower down. So lower down to the ground. We'll come into a seated forward fold. So sitting up nice and tall. Flex your feet towards your face. Let the heart lift as you inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold and reach for your feet. This is a good pose to use a strap for if the hands are not at the feet. And then begin to lift on up. Gently place your hands behind you. Bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. We're going to rock our legs from side to side, so kind of in this windshield wiper motion. Okay, and then from here, come back to a more still position and we'll come into pigeon pose. So if you'd like to take this in this position, you can. So you can cross your right ankle over your left knee, or you can always do exactly this except laying down on the floor. So whatever variation or version you prefer. So in a sense, the right knee is kind of pulling away from us. We work on hugging the left knee in a bit closer for a deeper stretch. And then find your way out of that, lowering the leg down, and then switching your sides. Crossing your left ankle over that right knee. I like to flex my left foot to really engage the muscles of the leg. And for a deeper stretch, start to walk your right heel closer to the body. And kind of getting a bit more of a lift through the upper body. And find your way out of that pose. So both feet are down on the floor. Go ahead and switch the position of the hands. So now hands are facing in towards the heels. Walk the heels a bit closer towards the glutes. We're going to come into a reverse tabletop. So we want our ankles to be under our knees. So when you're ready, inhale, press through the hands, press through the feet, and lift the hips up. Chin is either tucking in towards the chest, or it feels okay on the neck, you can let it hang back a bit. And that can give you a really nice opening through the throat chakra. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly as you exhale, lower back down. And now let's lower all the way down. Keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor. I'm going to come into a quick bridge pose. Shimmy the heels back. Again, so your feet are about hips width distance apart and your ankles are underneath your knees. Your feet are parallel, and when you're ready, press into the feet, lift the hips up. And now the sternum is kind of sliding towards the face. And if you'd like, you can kind of shimmy your shoulder blades towards one another, kind of underneath you. And as you lift in the hips, if you'd like, you can kind of interlace your hands. And the hands and forearms and triceps stay on the ground as the hips lift up. And keep the gaze just straight at the ceiling. The knees hug towards one another, so we want to avoid using a lot of our glute muscles here. It's more so grounding down through the feet and the muscles of the legs and those posterior back muscles for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, slowly lower down through the back and the glutes. All right. Walk your feet out towards the edges of the mat and let your knees fall in towards one another. Awesome. Begin to squeeze your knees in towards your chest and then lift your feet straight up towards the ceiling. This feels nice. So feel yourself really softening here. So in a lot of poses, I really like to flex my feet and engage the muscles, but in this one, I actually kind of I don't use a lot of effort. Exhale, go ahead and bring your feet back down towards the ground. Come into a full body stretch. Reach your arms up overhead. Spread your fingers, spread your toes. A nice inhale. And exhale out. We'll come into a spinal twist. So if you want to go ahead and squeeze that right knee into your right shoulder, the left leg will stay long on the floor. And as you exhale, guide your right leg up and over the left. And you want to roll onto the edge of the left leg. And we want to stay grounded down through the shoulders. And if you're ever worried about like this right knee kind of just hanging out here, if you have a yoga block or a stack of pillows, you can always stack those under your knee for support. On your exhale, come back through center. And then just to kind of reset the spine and the low back, go ahead and hug both knees in towards the chest as you press the low back into the mat. And then keep the left knee squeezing in, extend through the right leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, twist the left leg up and over. Roll onto the edge of your right leg. You can either gaze up at the ceiling or bring your gaze over towards your left hand. And then coming back towards center. Squeezing both knees in towards the chest, ground down through the low back. And on an exhale, come into your final resting pose. So extend your limbs here. So the legs are out nice and long. The arms are out, maybe palms face up, or if it feels better, you can always bring your hands maybe towards your belly. And we're going to close our practice. So this is often noticed as the most challenging yoga pose. So Shavasana, gently close your eyes down. We'll stay here for a minute. So let the earth hold you. Allow yourself to be held and set the intention to kind of fully let go, melt, and soften. And begin moving through your fingers and toes. And maybe letting your head nod over to the right, back up through center over to the left. And keep with this nice, steady, kind of relaxed essence you have created. And we'll find our way up to a seated position. And finding a nice seated posture, letting the spine really lengthen up, shoulders melt back, eyes may be closed or just gazing at the floor in front of you. Let's take a nice inhale and reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands together to touch, and then as you exhale, bring the hands into heart center. Relax the shoulders, allow yourself to sit up nice and tall so the heart is open. And we'll just pause here for a moment. So maybe saying a little kind of prayer of gratitude for yourself, for showing up, for being able to move with intention. Take another deep breath in. And a long exhale out through the mouth. Thank you for joining and practicing. Namaste. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. And hopefully I will see you next Monday.